I know it has not been easy lately. I know you've been struggling with your health. I know you sometimes think that you're not in the best of shape, that you're not smart enough, that you're not that well read, or that wise, or that brave, or that strong, or that beautiful. I know how the knowledge that you might not be living up to your full potential keeps haunting you when you're twisting and turning in your bed. I'm here to tell you that all of that is both false and partly true. I know that on some nights when you go to bed, you think you'll turn things around the next morning, that you will radically change who you are, your core, your essence, your appearance, your mind. And then when you wake up the next morning, the drive is suddenly gone. You feel exhausted and fatigued, and you slowly lift the blanket off of your body and wear your slippers and brush your teeth and go through the motions like a zombie, wondering where it all went wrong. Asking yourself where you lost the kid inside you who was always hopeful, always energetic. The bright eyes bubbling with dreams of magical futures filled with endless possibility. You close your eyes. You open them again, and as you look in the mirror, you catch a fleeting glimpse of that inner hopeful child. He had no clue about how money and taxes and social hierarchies worked and how the system functioned, but he was happy. He was brave, he was strong, and above all, he never believed in limitations. What he could not do in school, what he was punished for, and all that the world of grown-ups told him he was not allowed to do, only pushed him to fight harder. Far from being stumbling blocks, his broken dreams drove him to try harder, to push with all his might. And although his body was tiny, his mind was as large as the cosmos itself. For he did not believe in ends. He did not accept the inevitability of limitations. And each time someone did not give him permission to do what his soul really wanted to do, he knew he would grow up to transform himself into a person who could do all those things and much more than that. I know you feel lost sometimes, directionless and purposeless, floating like debris, like tiny little fragments of rocks swirling about in the vast open blankness of space. And I know everyone around you is always so busy pushing themselves, earning promotion after promotion, trying so desperately to climb those slippery rungs of the social ladder that all of it often feels too real to reject, too necessary to be happy without. And as a culture, we have associated success with money, with fame and power and material possessions. We are disconnected, we are isolated, we are competing with our own friends when we could all collaborate for a better tomorrow. We judge instead of accepting difference. We mock instead of including. We fight instead of breaking down. There is so much sadness underneath our masks of anger and hatred, and if only we could accept how vulnerable we all are, if we could give in and surrender to the wisdom of sadness instead of resisting it, we would make room for a world where we accept both the yin and the yang, the joy and the sorrow. I know you are so harsh with yourself sometimes that you beat yourself up with the force of 100 bullies combined. I know you never allow yourself to just take a break, to just breathe, to simply do nothing and be nobody. To close your eyes and just merge with the world around you. To dissolve the ego and to just be a transparent pair of eyes that watch without thinking, and observe without judging. Over time, I have realized that the surest way to treat yourself well is to talk to yourself in the same way that you talk to the person in your life whom you love the most. It could be your mother, or your father, or your brother, or your sister, or girlfriend, or wife. And every time I catch myself being unkind to myself, I imagine myself as the 6-year-old that I once used to be. The small, fragile hands and legs, the small brown eyes, the big wide smile and the wavy hair and the soft little fingers. The world had been so unkind to that beautiful child, and I owe it to the universe to give him the life of joy, safety, beauty and love that he always deserved. You see, when you've had a difficult childhood or a traumatic past, you often internalize the hatred and the shame. You turn yourself into an extension of the authority figures who treated you badly, who hit you and screamed at you for not living up to their expectations of how you were supposed to behave. And you treat yourself in a similarly unkind fashion, and you accept unkindness from others because that feels comfortable. That pattern feels known to your senses and your body. I did not deserve everything I went through, and to think of it still makes me shudder sometimes. Loud noises still scare me. The sound of doors shutting makes my heart palpitate. The sound of someone screaming makes my breathing faster. And all of these reactions happen without me realizing them, like involuntary responses. I lose control of my bodily agency, and that is one of the many scarring things that trauma can do to you. But it can also teach you a lot. It can teach you just because it happened to you does not mean it should happen again and keep happening to the generations to come. That the cycle can and must break, and that you are the one trusted with the responsibility to break the curse that had riddled many generations before you. It teaches you that you have immense spiritual power and unending fortitude and strength in your tiny little heart to simply push through the pain. If Bukowski were alive and he knew you, he would write that you grew up like an odd, neglected flower, gathering nourishment where you could. And because you recognize the patterns, you have the power to break them now. You have the wisdom it takes to turn the world into a safer place for someone who is as weak as you once used to be. Because you were helpless, your strength now knows no bounds. You can be anything you choose to be, anyone you decide to be. You are a free spirit. So next time you look into the mirror, I hope you feel connected again to the child who once used to be. And I promise you, you will discover that it is all still there. The hope, the brightness, the optimism and the courage. But I should warn you, it is probably shrouded under years of pain and sadness and heaviness and loneliness. So be patient with the kid. Let him cry. Let him grieve for all the times his wings were clipped. Let him mourn all the dreams that were snatched from his tiny, clumsy hands. Then wipe his tears. Tell him you are here now, and that you will never, ever leave him. That you did all of this for him, and that you will keep doing everything in your power to gift him a beautiful life. That you will die trying. That nothing and no one will ever come between the two of you. That he will never be alone again. That no one will dare treat him like they once treated him. That he is strong now. That he can slowly unfurl himself again. That he can gently crawl out from the shadows and show his beautiful face. That you are here, and that he is here. that it is all going to be alright, that it already is starting to feel alright again.